You've stockpiled food, water, and weapons. But when disaster strikes, it's not the loudest gear that saves you. It's the quiet tools everyone forgets about that become your lifelines. Today, I'm revealing 10 critical survival items that most preppers overlook, but could mean the difference between thriving and just barely surviving when the lights go out. These aren't expensive gadgets. They're simple, affordable tools that address the gaps in your survival strategy that could leave you vulnerable when you need them most. Welcome to Financial Area, where we prepare you for life's uncertainties. If you find value in today's content, hit that like button and subscribe for more practical survival and preparedness tips. Let's start with something so basic, yet so forgotten in our digital age, that it could literally save your life when technology fails you. In our smartphone-obsessed world, most people can't imagine navigating without GPS. But here's the harsh reality. When the grid goes down, your fancy navigation apps become worthless pieces of glass and metal. This is where offline paper maps become your salvation. Laminated or waterproofed paper maps offer something your phone never can: complete independence from power sources and cellular networks. They're lightweight, durable, and can withstand years of use without degrading. But here's what most preppers miss. Maps aren't just for getting from point A to point B. You can mark them in advance with escape routes, water sources, supply caches, and alternative paths that might save precious time when every second counts. The key is pairing these maps with solid compass skills. If you can't read a map and use a compass together, you're just carrying expensive paper. Take time now to learn basic navigation techniques, because when you're stressed, hungry, and potentially being pursued, is not the time to figure out which way is north. Now, let's talk about something that could literally determine whether you live or die while trying to stay hidden. Your choice of footwear isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Those heavy, clunky boots that sound like thunder with every step? They're basically announcing your location to anyone within a quarter-mile radius. In a survival scenario, stealth could mean the difference between reaching safety and becoming a target. You need footwear that moves quietly. Look for shoes with non-slip, cushioned soles that absorb impact rather than amplifying it. The soles should be flexible enough to feel the ground beneath you, helping you avoid stepping on branches or loose rocks that could create noise. And here's something most people overlook. Break in any new survival footwear well before you need it. Blisters and hot spots can disable you faster than most injuries. Don't forget about socks either. Wool or synthetic blends are your friends. They wick moisture, reduce friction, and dry faster than cotton. Your feet are your primary mode of transportation when everything goes wrong. Take care of them, and they'll take care of you. Speaking of taking care of yourself, there's one tool that can literally replace a dozen others while taking up almost no space. A quality multi-tool is like having a portable workshop in your pocket. We're talking pliers, multiple knife blades, screwdrivers, wire cutters, scissors, and sometimes even more specialized tools, all in one compact device that weighs less than most smartphones. But here's the critical part. Avoid the ultra-cheap versions. When you're using pliers to extract something under pressure, or cutting through thick material with the wire cutters, the last thing you need is your tool bending, breaking, or failing to lock properly. Invest in a reputable brand with a proven track record. More importantly, learn how to use every function effectively before you need it. Fumbling with an unfamiliar tool in the dark while under stress is not the time to discover that you don't know how to access the wire strippers or that the blade doesn't lock securely. Practice with it regularly, so using it becomes second nature. Now let's move into something most preppers completely overlook, despite it being literally life or death for millions of people. If you wear glasses, a spare pair isn't optional. It's absolutely critical for survival. Imagine trying to navigate, identify threats, or perform delicate tasks while everything beyond arm's length is a blur. Store at least one backup pair in a hard case, and consider investing in durable frames like polycarbonate or sports models that can take a beating. But glasses are just the beginning. Prescription medications are often completely forgotten in survival planning, yet they're among the most critical items you can stockpile. We're talking about medications for diabetes, heart conditions, asthma, severe allergies, conditions that don't pause for emergencies. Maintain at least a 3-month supply of any vital prescriptions. This includes insulin, inhalers, epinephrine auto-injectors, blood pressure medications, and any other drugs you literally cannot live without. Rotate your stock regularly to prevent expiration and store everything in waterproof, clearly labeled containers. Don't forget over-the-counter essentials either. Electrolyte tablets can prevent dangerous dehydration. Antacids address stomach issues that arise from stress and unfamiliar foods. Anti-diarrheal medications can be lifesavers when clean water is scarce. These might seem minor until you're dealing with them in a survival situation. Speaking of life or death situations, there's one medical tool that can stop someone from bleeding to death in minutes. Uncontrolled bleeding, particularly arterial bleeding in arms and legs, is one of the leading preventable causes of death in emergencies. A high-quality tourniquet can stop this bleeding and save lives, but only if you have one accessible and know how to use it properly. Choose proven models like the Combat Application Tourniquet, known as the CAT, or the Soft TTW. These aren't just pieces of fabric, they're precision medical devices designed to completely stop blood flow when applied correctly. Keep at least one on your person where you can reach it quickly, and another in your main medical kit. Here's what's critical. Learn proper application techniques now, not during an emergency. A tourniquet applied incorrectly can be worse than useless. It can cause additional damage. Take a basic first aid course that includes tourniquet training, and consider teaching others in your family or group. When someone is bleeding out, you might have minutes to act. Now, let's talk about a communication method that works when everything else fails. When cell towers are down, radios are dead, and electronics have failed, a simple whistle and signal mirror become your lifeline to the outside world. These are completely analog tools that require no batteries, no maintenance, and no technical knowledge to operate effectively. A loud, piercing whistle can be heard for miles under the right conditions and is the international distress signal when blown in groups of 3. Attach it to your pack straps or wear it around your neck where you can reach it instantly. Don't bury it in your pack where it's useless when you need it most. A signal mirror, despite being incredibly simple, can be seen from aircraft at distances of over 100 miles on a clear day. The key is learning to use the sighting hole properly to aim reflected sunlight. Practice this skill because when you're trying to signal a rescue aircraft, you might only get one chance to get their attention. Store your signal mirror in a hard case to prevent cracks that could make it useless. These tools might seem primitive, but they've saved countless lives precisely because they work when nothing else does. Moving on to something that could mean the difference between staying hydrated efficiently or struggling with bulky, noisy water containers. Traditional water bottles have significant drawbacks in survival situations. They're rigid, taking up valuable space even when empty. They can be noisy when they knock against other gear, and drinking from them often requires stopping and using both hands, which isn't always practical when you need to stay mobile. Water bladders solve these problems elegantly. When full, they conform to your pack's shape, distributing weight more evenly. When empty, they roll up to almost nothing, freeing up space for other critical items. With a hydration pack system, you can drink hands-free while walking, climbing, or even crawling, keeping you hydrated without compromising mobility. Choose puncture-resistant models with reliable bite valves that won't leak or fail when you need them most. But here's something many people miss. Regular maintenance is crucial. Clean your bladders thoroughly with appropriate cleaning tablets or brushes to prevent mold and bacteria buildup. A contaminated water source is worse than no water at all. Now let's discuss illumination that keeps your hands free for the tasks that could save your life. A flashlight is useful, but a headlamp is transformative. It provides hands-free lighting exactly where you're looking, allowing you to work, navigate, set up shelter, or provide medical aid without constantly repositioning a light source or holding something in your teeth. But here's where most people make a critical mistake. They choose headlamps without red light capability. Red light preserves your night vision and is much less visible to others at distance, making it ideal for maintaining stealth while still being able to see what you're doing. Look for models with multiple brightness settings so you can conserve battery life when full power isn't necessary, and ensure whatever you choose is properly weatherproofed. There's nothing worse than your primary light source dying because moisture got into the electronics. Store spare batteries in waterproof pouches, and consider rechargeable models that are compatible with solar panels or hand-crank charging devices. When you don't know how long the emergency will last, the ability to recharge your lights could be invaluable. Let's talk about the most fundamental survival need and why your current fire-starting method might fail you when you need it most. Fire provides warmth, allows cooking, purifies water, signals for help, and provides psychological comfort in desperate situations. Most people rely entirely on disposable lighters, but these can fail due to breakage, fuel depletion, or moisture infiltration at the worst possible moment. Ferro rods and magnesium fire starters work in conditions that would defeat traditional lighters. They function when wet, in high winds, and at extreme temperatures. They also produce thousands of strikes, making them virtually inexhaustible in most survival scenarios. But having the tools is only half the battle. You need reliable tinder that ignites easily even in adverse conditions. Wax-coated cotton balls or dryer lint sealed in plastic straws create easily ignitable tinder that's waterproof and compact. Store different fire-starting methods in separate parts of your kit, so a single mishap doesn't eliminate all your options. Practice starting fires in various weather conditions now, when failure just means starting over, not freezing to death. Finally, let's cover the ultimate problem-solving tools that cost almost nothing but can fix almost everything. Duct tape and zip ties might seem mundane, but they're among the most versatile tools you can carry. Duct tape can patch equipment, seal containers, waterproof clothing, create emergency splints, and even serve as emergency butterfly bandage. As for wound closure, zip ties are perfect for quick repairs, securing loose items, creating improvised restraints, bundling materials for shelter construction, and countless other applications. They're lightweight, take up virtually no space, and don't degrade over time like some other materials. The key is accessibility. Keep small amounts of both materials in multiple locations throughout your gear. Wrap duct tape around trekking poles or pencils to save space, and carry zip ties in various sizes in different pockets or pouches. These aren't glamorous tools, but they're the ones that keep everything else working when it matters most. Here's the truth that most prepper content won't tell you. You've probably spent hundreds or thousands of dollars on the obvious stuff, the food, the weapons, the water storage systems. But survival happens in the margins, in the small details that everyone overlooks. When the power grid fails and society breaks down, it's not going to be your tactical gear that determines whether you make it through the first month. It's whether you can navigate without GPS, move quietly without being detected, start a fire in the rain, stop severe bleeding, signal for help when electronics fail, and fix the inevitable equipment failures that will happen when you can't just order replacements online. The items we've covered today aren't expensive or complicated, but they address critical gaps that could leave you vulnerable when you can't afford to be. More importantly, each one requires some level of skill development to use effectively. Start building these skills now. Learn to read maps and use a compass. Practice with your multi-tool until every function is familiar. Train with a tourniquet until you can apply it quickly and correctly under stress. Master fire-starting techniques in various weather conditions. Because when everything goes wrong, gear is truth, and the truth is cold. The question isn't whether you have enough supplies to last. It's whether you have the right supplies and skills to thrive when everyone else is just trying to survive. If this video opened your eyes to gaps in your preparedness strategy, hit that like button and subscribe to Financial Area for more practical survival and preparedness content. Drop a comment, letting me know which of these forgotten items you're adding to your kit first. Remember, in the new world, it's not the loudest gear to hat saves you. It's the quiet tools, the forgotten essentials, the details that everyone else missed. Prepare wisely, train consistently, and when the lights go out, you'll be ready for whatever comes next.